What is going on, Formula One family? So I did say I'll make this video about Lewis Hamilton. Unfortunately, it's not a video I wanted to make, but nevertheless, to keep it consistent on this channel, it is a video I have to make. Is Lewis Hamilton making far too many mistakes this year? You know, and I would have to say yes. The reason why I've come to this analysis or conclusion, I've done a bit of analysis myself actually today. And if I could give him a mark out of 10 for each race so far, that's a possible mark of 90 points. He got 71, which isn't too bad at all, but you know, it's not the greatest. And if I was to score max, in all honesty, he would score higher than that. Now, obviously, I know, and some people might not know or choose not to believe, that there are things against him and his team this year, and I don't think everything is consistent and fair. But that's not going to be broken down in this analysis. It's just performance based. So let's get into the first race. Was Bahrain. I gave him a 10 for that. I think it was a fantastic race. Whether or not you're a Mercedes fan or Red Bull fan, it was great to watch the battle. Italy was very poor from him. I gave him a 7, I think, for that. It was great at times, but the crash ultimately took him out the race. Not took him out the race, took him out of contention for the win, I should say. And yeah, it was uncalled for. There was no pressure, nothing. He just made a silly mistake. Portugal 10, domination. Likewise with Spain, having to catch Max, similar to what they done to him in France. Monaco standard 5. I'm sorry, you get a standard 5 if you just bring it home, and there was nothing glorious to Lewis's race in Monaco. Let's be honest. Azerbaijan is a 4. Possibly I should even give lower than that. Just disgusted with what happened, to be honest. You know, that's a lot of points now that you've lost, looking back at where the gap is. So yeah, that was a 4. I should even give lower than that, to be honest. France 10, done everything he could, flawless. It's just unfortunate Mercedes weren't on it with the strategy, and Red Bull were. Austria the first time round, or the Styrian Grand Prix I should say, 9, maybe even 8, but I'll say 9. Yeah, just didn't have the pace, but I complained a lot and stuff like that. Sometimes just get your head down and see if you can find that pace rather than complain. And this time round in Austria, it has to be a 6 because ultimately he damaged his car, and yeah, he lost a lot of points again. So that is 71 out of 90. Now, if you look at the gap in the championship, yes, Red Bull have the fastest car, but there's been plenty of times when you could have finished second or on the podium at least. And there's now been, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's been 4 instances now where Lewis has been at fault for ultimately losing good points, possibly finishing P2 on the podium, and down to him making an error has wrecked his race. Azerbaijan being the most critical, last. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, last, are you joking? Like, anyway. So yeah, Max, whether or not you choose to believe Red Bull are cheating or not, Max is super consistent this year, and I have to give him that at least. He is very consistent. You know, the only error we've seen from Max is in France at the start. That's the only thing I can really think of from, you know, memory. I think after France, that hit Lewis. Losing France hurt Lewis, I think, whether or not you want to believe it or whether or not he didn't show it. The reason why is because whenever Lewis has a bad race, and if you think about it, he had 2 bad races in a row. So that's Monaco. He was on it in Azerbaijan, but just didn't have the car, but he could have had a decent race still, but he fucked up there as well. So France was critical for him, and he gave it everything, and it still wasn't good enough. And I feel like that impacted Lewis, especially coming from France to Austria, where he's not traditionally strong. So it was always going to be a struggle, to be honest. But he gave it everything in the first Grand Prix. Second one, obviously, the damage. Silverstone is next. he can't afford to make any more mistakes, especially at Silverstone. This will be absolutely critical for the championship, and Mercedes know it. So, guys, let me know what you think. The pressure getting to Lewis, or is he overdriving the car to find time? Let me know what you guys think, and take care of yourselves.